Hello Star Wars action figure and toy collectors, it's filmmaker Mike, and I'm sure you've probably all seen the many pictures from Toy Fair 2013 in New York just last weekend or 2 weekends ago. And it's been very exciting to see all these brand new toys coming out, not just Star Wars, but other toys from DC, from G.I. Joe, Transformers, Marvel, and anything else you can think of. So with upcoming movies and of course Lego and all these other toy companies and toy properties and franchises, it's exciting to see brand new toys and action figures coming soon to a toy store or comic book store or online retailer very soon, later this year. So speaking about Star Wars action figures, I was definitely surprised with what Hasbro presented this year. Of course, with the cancellation of the Droid Factory line, and the announcement of the Black Series, which is pretty exciting, the 6-inch Black Series and a 3 3/4 with a 3 3/4 Black Series that will be continued as the vintage line for this year. Very exciting. But of course, the one thing that I was really concerned about, and I'm sure a lot of collectors are too, is the brand new line that's 3 3/4, but they've cut back on articulation. They're 5-point articulation figures. And they definitely feel, and not just look like, but feel a lot like the figures, the original vintage figures from the late 70s and early 80s. And a lot of collectors have been concerned about that. Why is Hasbro spending this wasting this money or spending this money on things that we don't want to buy, and all these other toys and figures, when they should be spending more on like figures like the Black Series and all these things? Well, I had questions as well, and I'm sure a lot of you do too. And I want to say a special shout out to Star Wars Action News, because I've been listening to Star Wars Action News for a good number of years now. And Star Wars Action News, hosted by Arnie and Marjorie, husband and wife team, Star Wars fans and big Star Wars collectors, they were there at Toy Fair. And if I were you, go download their podcast, their episode on, subscribe to their podcast first and foremost, and download the episodes, episode 380, Toy Fair 2013 Part 1, episode 381, Toy Fair 2000 Part 2, and episode 382, Toy Fair 2013 Part 3. Especially Part 1, listen to Part 1 first, because there you will hear from Daryl DePriest, who is one of the big guys at Hasbro, really talk about, and another the other guy from market, I can't remember his name, from Hasbro, and really explain why they cut back to the 5-point articulation for figures. And the good thing about that is that they slashed the price to about $5, about $6 a figure, with some tax. So the good thing about it is that it's a lot cheaper. But the not so good thing about it, especially for us collectors who love to collect these action figures of Star Wars characters, is that they're not highly articulated, no more super articulation. But then again, we have the Black Series, the 3 3/4 Black Series, and the 6-inch Black Series for that. So the reason for that being is that they're cutting budget costs. It will cost them a lot less to assemble a figure with less parts, with less articulation. It has less parts, obviously. So it's a lot cheaper for them. And another thing is that we have to remember that Hasbro is a business. Yes, Hasbro provides all these great Star Wars action figures and toys and other toys and other brands, Transformers, Marvel, you name it. So they also have to think of the business sense. There is a business side to it that we as collectors don't easily see, because we as collectors want to just have them make the figures, put it on the store shelves, buy it, or put it online, buy it, and then enjoy it, open it, collect it, or keep it carded. And but then we also forget that a lot of other people who buy these Star Wars action figures are kids, not necessarily serious collectors, but they're kids. They like to play with these things, and so in a business sense, they have to keep it at a lower price and have the articulation. It doesn't, especially for kids, the articulation won't matter as much, I guess. But of course, to some extent, it certainly does. But then to another extent, the super articulation, that's why we have the Black Series, and it's a higher price. Anyway, listen to those episodes, Toy Fair 2013 Part 1, episode 380, and it'll just all make sense. And now it made sense. So I want to say thank you to Arnie and Marjorie for doing such a good job at getting the information from Hasbro and finding out why we're getting all these 5-point articulation Star Wars figures. And also the reason for being for that is that one of the Hasbro guys explained that they want to bring back the vintage feel of the late 70s, early 80s Star Wars figures, where it's less articulation, but then when you hold it, even the plastic, it feels like those figures from back in the day. But at the same time, I wish that if they were going to do that, that they would release them in vintage packaging to make it really feel like those vintage figures with 5-point articulation. I honestly wouldn't mind getting a vintage Han Solo that's not super articulated, that looks like a vintage style figure. I mean, I think that's really cool. But that's just me personally. That's my opinion. So, you know, but yeah, it just made sense. So listen to those podcasts, listen to those episodes, and hopefully it does make sense to a certain extent. But don't worry, we still have our Black Series. Unfortunately, Clone Wars is gone. It's done for now. But of course, if they make new characters, it'll be in the realistic style, no longer the animated style. So I think there's like a brand new Captain Rex and a brand new R2, maybe an Anakin Skywalker, but then that's it. Very sad to see Clone Wars go. So I'm sorry to share with all of you that the Clone Wars line is done for now. It's really sad that that there's still so much figures, there's so much characters that they could have made, vehicles, you name it, they could have made it, but you know, that just happens, unfortunately. So really sad to see the Clone Wars go. Really enjoyed collecting the series, the line, the figures, but you know, that's just the way it is, unfortunately. So hopefully, you know, we get it back someday. Who knows? But yeah, I just wanted to share my thoughts and my feelings on this brand new this new direction that Hasbro was taking. That they want to make the 5-point articulation figures to feel like Kenner was still making the figures. So it definitely would be great for carded collectors because you won't have to open it, or you won't have to, you know, mind the articulation. But then, you know, it's just interesting. So let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts on the brand new like figures or the toys that you're seeing from Toy Fair, the pictures that you've seen. But I'm definitely excited to see everything again, every brand new stuff, especially since we've had such a drought on vintage stuff last year. Distribution was just horrible. So that's also something that I hope Hasbro will improve on with distribution. And the exclusives look great as well. We're gonna get repacked Republic gunship with the 2 bubble turrets, Slave 1 with Boba Fett, and Han and Carbonite, which is really exciting, which is the same mold from the Clone Wars Slave 1 of Boba Fett. So really cool, and a bunch of other stuff. So anyway, thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for more Star Wars action figure toy news and a whole lot more. May the Force be with you. Bye.